let's now move on to the next topic. The next topic is a topic which I hope is very close to all of your hearts, and that's called user-defined queries. Let's open this up. User-defined queries. So, right, within the user-defined query functionality, you've been using user-defined queries since the inception of Business One on the desktop. We've taken the same identical functionality and brought it in to the web client. So when we create user-defined queries within the web client, they are also created within the desktop. And when we create new queries within the desktop, they are also created within the web client, with two exceptions. And the two exceptions are that the web client does not see any update queries, and it does not see any parameter queries either. And the reason why is because the parameter queries are not necessary, and you'll see why in a moment. It's compensated by the way in which we use the user-defined queries within the web client itself. So with that in mind, let us actually let's create a user-defined query in the web client. We give it a name. And invoices, we like invoices today. It's invoices, and give it a category. These are the same categories that we have in the B1 desktop. And then we actually can build our SQL statement. Now, I may want to select all records from something. So what's the something? As soon as I start typing, you'll notice that we've got this choose from list that appears here. Now, it happens to have brought up a list because of what I just typed. It's a list of all the internal SQL views that we have in the system, that we can select any of these views in the system. Alternatively, if I type in something else, sales analysis, we can actually see it also has all of the HANA calculation views available. We are looking at a HANA version at the moment. We're using HANA at the moment. So all the HANA calculation views are available. And at this point, I think it's very important to point out that everything you've seen with so far and will see, including all the user-defined query functionality, applies to both the Microsoft SQL and also the SAP HANA environments. Come on, let's have a round of applause for that. I'm sure you're jumping for joy when you hear that. So everything, the only difference is this thing here, where obviously when you're using a HANA database, you'll be able to see the HANA calculation views. When you're using a Microsoft SQL database, you'll be able to see the SQL views. All of these are accessible, and okay, so those are the SQL views, and of course we can access all of the system tables, and we can access all of both the system tables and any additional tables that relate to partner add-ons. So if you've built an add-on out there and you've got your tables, you can relate to all of those tables within the same query. So we're just going to go with our invoices, and we're going to select various fields from the invoice table. Let's type them in. As soon as I start typing, you can see the choose from list. I can select them from the list if I want to. So document number, doc date, document date, and the doc total, the total amount. So I've selected these three fields, and I'm going to activate this query. And what that does is it makes it available for selection as a data source in the general overview screen, and also in the linked list view feature. So for all of the fields that the three fields that we have defined so far, we see that their definition comes up at in the columns area of this screen, and we can change the description for these three fields if we want to. And the first one, document number, we may also want to link it to the invoice document table, the invoice table itself. And for any numeric field, we may want to define whether it should be a measure field or a dimension field, and it will be handled accordingly within all the charting views. So we want to keep this as a measure field, the dot total, and therefore we can choose how we may want to aggregate, either by sum or by average, etc. And we may want to define the number of decimal places. Now, when we're happy with it, and I'm happy with it, I want to add it and add and view. So we add it, and there it is. It's now added. And now comes the most important part. It's all very well creating a user-defined query, but how do we view it? And we want to view it inside the standard list view environment that we already know how to use. So let's open this up inside a list view. And here we have a presentation of the user-defined query from whatever the source, from the HANA calculation view, from the Microsoft SQL view, from the system tables, from the partner add-on tables, whatever the sources are, and it could be any mix of those. And we see this view, and we see our three fields: document number, posting date, and document total. And the document number has a link to open up the source invoice. Here you see the summary details. If I want to open up the actual invoice itself, I can view more, but I'm not going to do that now. But in addition, I'm sure you've all noticed that there are more than 3 fields here. Now, the posting date in the second column has been split up into, there's another 7 dates here. Posting date by year, by quarter, by month, by week, by year and quarter, year and month, year and week. And what is this? This is all the date aggregation functionality. When I said there were 8 fields before, there really are 8 fields, and these fields work in the normal way. And you can see at the top of the screen, a couple of them are available here for filtering purposes. You can choose whichever ones you want for filtering purposes. If you just want to filter out the Q2 transactions in 2006, go ahead and do that. It's very easy to do it. Just put the 2006 Q2 into the filter bar, press go, and you're filtered. So the date aggregation functionality works not just in the chart views, but it also works in the table view as well. So let's now go back to the user-defined query console and open up something that I built earlier. You see, as a user-defined query, it doesn't have to be a simple statement. We can have a union between umpteen number of tables, make it very interesting, take whichever fields we want from whichever tables we want, from whichever data sources we want, whether they are partner add-on tables, system tables, HANA calculation views, Microsoft SQL views, etc. Union, joins, etc., etc. Build whatever, make it as complicated as you like. Well, maybe not quite, but here you've got a good example of quite a complex query. So, okay. Right, so now I want to show you an example. Here's a user-defined query example. Let's open this up. Something that I've created earlier. Happens to be based on a HANA calculation view, and we can open this up in our list view format, and I'm going to open up a previously saved view of this user-defined query, and here we see a chart view that was previously saved, and of course we have all the regular list view functionality. We've got the table view, the chart view, the card view,